Finding a local job in Central Illinois has never been easier. Don't waste time driving far or spending too much on gas. Visit IllinoisJobPost.com. It's your one-stop site to find local, full-time, and part-time job openings. Best of all, it's completely free for job seekers to access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
WTIM. And this is the WTIM morning show on your information station, and it's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm Reed Kamai, and you may still have the recent winter storms in your mind, in the back of your mind, as a lot of that snow is still out there. And here to talk about that and storm preparedness and much more, I'm sure, is Dan Huff. And Dan is the director of the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency, and he joins us by phone this morning. Dan, thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Reed. Yeah, we've had an active winter weather season so far, so yeah, a lot of us have been busy this year,
and that includes you folks in particular responding to some of that winter weather. And I'd love to just hear from you about how it went and any words you have for folks in Montgomery County and just around Central Illinois in general about that.
Yeah, so it was this most recent storm. We had a lot of information come in giving us time to prepare for that. Of course, the National Weather Service prepared us with the information, and the message that we tried to put out, we were fortunate in the fact that it came over the weekend. So as it came in to us, we put that information out to the public so that it was something that we stressed to stay home, to enjoy the family, to enjoy that time off, and that gave our road crews, that gave our first responders the ability to do their jobs with less traffic on the road. And that certainly helped. It was a lot of snow. It was a light snow that helped in the removal of it and keeping the roads clear. So we were successful in that fashion. And I can tell you, the call volume coming into the dispatch centers was light, thankfully. So I think a lot of the people took the advice and did stay home. So that was helpful. And it's not always easy preparing for this stuff. The storms, it comes so far out in the time of the week. And then when we prepare for it, and by the time it gets to us, there's a lot of data that comes in, and a lot of things have to be thought of in order for us to put this information out. So the public is tuned in to the media, to social media, to everything that we have at our fingertips. And when we finally get the storm behind us, it's like, did we hit the mark? Did we miss the mark? And in this instance, I think we hit it pretty good. So I thank the public for that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a lot of stuff was going on in your favor in terms of, you mentioned the lighter snow, which is what I certainly saw here in Taylorville, and I imagine also that, the timing of it going into a weekend, right? Like, people in the week, of course, for the most part, have work, and then for the weekends, for the most part, although there are some people who work weekends, they don't necessarily have to go out, but may have had plans to see people or do fun stuff, as a lot of people do on the weekends. And it seemed like, even with that potential tendency, you still didn't have a whole lot of call traffic or really disruptions to your operations at Montgomery County EMA from that. Does that seem accurate?
Yes, yes. And I take myself back into the 80s, and I can remember Route 48. I lived in Raymond, and when Route 48 closed, and of course there was a lot of cars off in there in the ditches, and the road became closed due to the traffic being stuck and the road being closed, and then the plows couldn't get through. So that all became obstacles, and we couldn't keep the roads open. So, in this case, it was a lighter snow. It wasn't nearly as impactful, and that helped. So, just imagine what the road crews have to go through driving those trucks in those conditions. And then when we have added traffic, it makes their job tougher. Same way with an ambulance responding to a call. If we have those people out on the roads and we can't get to them due to the conditions, it just makes the job tougher. So when we put those messages out, whether it's to stay home or whether it's to prepare for the incoming weather, whether it be spring, storms or winter storms or flooding, it's just, we're trying to help everybody involved, whether it's the general public or whether it's the public works or whether it's the first responders. We're just trying to keep everything flowing seamlessly.
And that is all a very good point. I want to ask another question. You mentioned that you get information from the National Weather Service. Any state or more local agencies, other than of course, you folks that you work with to get the information about what to expect and maybe how to respond?
As far as the weather itself, I utilize the National Weather Service, and then I have some radars that I use, things like GR level 3. I monitor that as it comes across from the west to the east to us. I listen to radio traffic. I listen to things, how it's impacting the communities, to the west. And so as they are experiencing that storm coming in, whether again it's winter weather or whether it's spring weather, if they're starting to have wind damage or they're starting to see snowfall at 9 a.m. and they're an hour out from me, I know to expect that, in about an hour. So it gives me the ability to start giving warning to my local area, whether that's through Facebook or radio or through news. It helps me prepare my county officials. I'm in contact with my sheriff's office, my first responders. I send the emails out to them. So I'm trying to get the word out to them as things become more obvious that we are going to be impacted, or maybe not as impacted as we thought. Maybe it's going to shift to the south or to the north of us. We still need to be prepared, and things could change. Maybe it's not going to be. Maybe we weren't in the targeted area before, and now we are. So it's a constant vigilance that we're on alert. So at 4 a.m. when I get the briefings from the National Weather Service, I'm usually on a briefing call with them, and then again at around 4 p.m, I'll get an updated briefing. So twice a day, I'm tuned in with them.
So a lot of information you're getting, and I like also you mentioning how you disseminate, right, the information that you have to other agencies like the sheriff's office. So a lot of communication in all directions is what is going on there. That is Dan Huff, the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency's director, talking with us this morning on the WTIM morning show. Dan, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll maybe talk a little more about preparedness, what folks can do about that in terms of these storms and anything else that's going on over at the Montgomery County EMA. That'll be coming up after this short break right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets down the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat all lower at this hour. March corn down 3, 425.5. May corn down 2 1/4, 433.5. December new crop 454 3/4, down 2 pennies. March beans down 4, 1061 3/4. May beans down 2 1/2, 1074 3/4. November new crop 1077 3/4, down 1 1/2. March Chicago wheat 523 down 5 3/4. March KC wheat 529 down 5 3/4. March bean meal down 290, 289 even. March bean oil 54.86, up 37 cents. Livestock trade March feeders up 527, 373.20. February live cattle up $1.35, 241.67. February lean hogs unchanged, 88.55. Energy market March crude oil 63.43, up 22 cents. This is the RFD Radio Network.
The Taylorville Tornadoes are on WTIM. Listen on air or online for all football, boys basketball, and playoff games of both teams on AM, FM, and streamed on the WTIM mobile app. Sponsored by your Taylorville McDonald's Restaurant, Advanced Title Group, CNB Bank and Trust, and Taylorville Memorial Hospital.
Purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Hi, I'm Kathy Coker, Executive Director at Loving Arms Pregnancy Center. We provide free, confidential services for anyone navigating pregnancy or parenting challenges. Support with clarity, encouragement, and compassion without judgment. Services include on-site pregnancy tests, options consultations, parenting education, ultrasound referrals, and more. Loving Arms has 2 convenient locations, in Taylorville and in Pana. Call 217-824-7200 or visit lovingarmsillinois.com.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Take charge of your mental well-being with the new Credible Mind screening tool from the Christian County Health Department. Get fast, confidential insight and connect to local resources that fit your needs by clicking the CCHD banner at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Empower your health today.
Here's Dr. Pavi Gill from Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Lifestyle medicine is about motivating you to improve your quality of life by changing habits and behaviors.
Find out more by clicking Dr. Gill's icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. It's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Dan Huff, the director of the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. And what I'd love to talk about, Dan, to start this next segment is really just about what emergency management is and some of the finer operations, at least that you folks have over in Montgomery County, especially when, well, emergencies or any big weather incidents come up. So, Dan, what is emergency management really like behind the scenes?
Well, for one, it's preparedness. We do a lot of planning. We help agencies and communities and nursing homes, hospitals with their emergency planning. We've done everything from weather to fires to flooding. We just help them write their plans do after action plans when something happens, help them with their incident management in the event that that bad day does come. But it's in preparedness. It's in the after action portion of that. In Montgomery County, we have a search and rescue. We have a volunteer group, and within that volunteer group, we have a search and rescue team. We have a drone team that for utilizing for search and rescue or for incident management at fire scenes, hazmat scenes. We are also with damage assessment after a storm or flooding. We send our teams out and they assess the damage in that community or in that area impacted by a storm or flooding. All this data is collected and then sent into the state for their reporting systems. And in the event that funding does become available, at least we have that data collected for them. We also have assets such as generators and trailers that have mobile command posts available. When we had the dust storm accident out on I-55, we were able to go out and assist with it. Or we may go to a fire. Just recently, we had one in one of our communities where a deputy was on patrol and noticed smoke coming from a resident and was able to alert that family, got them out of the house. Our EMT, our EMA group was able to go there and assist that fire department with resources to help that family. So we do a lot besides the weather preparedness. We offer other things in our agency that helps our communities with assets. So that's just some of the things that we do.
And we could probably spend an entire show talking about the rest of it, but no, that is a really nice and clear and valuable overview of what it is you folks do. Preparedness, of course, being the key. And I think I remember that that story you mentioned about the smoke coming from the house. I think we had it in one of our actually recent news clusters that we had here on WTIM. I do want to give you 2 minutes. That's the time we have left to talk about a spotter class that you folks are hosting on February 24th. Just talk a little about that and what exactly spotting entails.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a storm spotting course put on by the National Weather Service, and that will be held February 24th from 6:30 to 8:30. That is at the Lincoln Land Community College, located in Litchfield at 1 Lincoln Land Drive. Again, at Lincoln Land Community College, 1 Lincoln Land Drive, February 24th, 6:30 to 8:30. This is a storm spotter course. This will give you the things to look at or to identify, to be able to report back to the local authorities or the National Weather Service in the event that tornadic activity is developing. You'll be able to report that to the authorities and give fair warning to the others in your community. So we invite the general public, first responders, interested parties that may want to attend that. You're all welcome to attend. There is no cost involved. We'd love to have you trained in that area so that we can get that reported truthfully to the National Weather Service. So again, February 24th, 6:30 to 8:30 at Lincoln Land Community College in Litchfield.
So looking forward to that. And it sounds like, we were talking earlier about, where you get a lot of the information that guides your efforts. And so spotters, certainly sound like another one of those sources to help you make all of that happen. Well, I've been talking with Dan Huff, the director of the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. Dan, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Reed, and thanks to all your listeners for being out there doing the good things that they do in our communities.
And it is indeed important. Well, thank you for listening to the WTIM Morning Show. Have a great day.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 FM Taylorville, 107.5 FM Shelbyville, 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Melting some of the ice in Minnesota.
I have announced effective immediately. We will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel.
Trump Borders Czar Tom Homan says the move comes after state and local authorities agreed to cooperate with the feds by turning over illegals who had been arrested for various crimes. Federal judge in Portland, Oregon is tying the hands of federal agents by blocking them from deploying tear gas against anti-ICE rioters.